How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we'll be going over some of the best spots in New World where you can sit AFK or in between OPRs and 3v3 arenas and only have to go back every 15 to 20 minutes to gather the resources for easy, effortless gold. Before we get into that, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively. Now, let's get into it. Whenever you have other things to get done around the house or just need a break from New World, if you still want to be making some gold in the meantime, it can be very beneficial to leave your game up and strategically place your character in a quiet area with loads of resources within a short distance of one another, coming back to the game every 20 minutes or so, which should give most of the nodes enough time to respawn, gather them all quickly, and then go back to being AFK. This can see you rack up tons of gold, aptitude levels, and resources in the long run, for little to no effort at all. If you wanted to really maximize efficiency, you can also do this while you're also getting some PvP in. So do the same thing, but instead of going AFK for 20 minutes, run an OPR match or a 3v3 arena. Then, in between matches, just gather all the resources, making you ultra efficient. Or, if you want to get even more crafty with it, and you need your main character to be out there doing things in the world, you can make a second account in the same server and get it to a high enough level to gather the resources in one of these locations that you want. And then, just have it always sitting there, and you just switch from your main to your alt every 20 minutes or so, gather all of the nodes, and get back onto your main, transferring all the profits over whenever you want via the trade post, the company system, or by using a friend to trade the gold over. Doing this will even level your alt, eventually getting them to level 65, which opens up even more possibilities for extra gold making activities, like multiple cash and dark matter caches every week, or multiple extra bonus gold missions daily. For this video, I will show you all of my favorite spots to sit AFK to make some gold while doing other things on the side. I will sort them all into the areas that have a big variety of different resources all near one another, and also other areas that are more specialized for a specific type of top tier ore, since mining is the most profitable skill currently on my server. If eventually you want a part 2 for this video, but for other gathering skills like logging, let me know in the comments which ones you'd like to see next. I will also try to add enough spot options for everyone, so that every area doesn't become overcrowded. That way, if you head to one spot and it's taken, you can just try out another one. A quick couple of caveats before you get going. If you want to maximize everything, top tier gathering gear, tools, and trophies will help out massively. Plus, if you want, you can throw up some music buffs to increase yields as they expire, and proficiency potions as well to get your numbers up. Top tier bags will also help, and can increase how long you can stay in an area AFK before needing to bank. But all of that's not necessary, just helpful. If gold isn't something you have much use for in the game, you could also go for PVP XP AFK as well, when you're taking your breaks from the game. I'll link a video that goes over that in the top right in the video description, but that's not as consistent of a method. Now, let's get started with the gold making methods. Feel free to use the timestamps to skip to certain resources you want in particular, but I'll be starting off with the areas that have a wide variety of different resources from all kinds of gathering skills. I find these to be the best, because you get a bit of everything, but there'll also be some spots out there for those of you looking for only one type of item at a time. First up, and one of my favorite spots to use, which you may have seen in my harvesting video, is this little area over in Cutlass Keys. This area has a total of 4 runewood trees, 8 weirdwood trees, 4 wire fiber, 10 spin fiber, and 9 silkweed spawns. Plus, there's some cougars and boars roaming around the area you can take out as well if you need some thick hide. There's tons of potential here to make great money AFK, and if you want to shorten your AFK periods down and add some ore into your grind, you could even go around into the fort just to the north and take all the Starmetal and Mythril from in there as well. That can get done in about 2 to 4 minutes. There's also a lot of decent chests in there, and the mobs are only level 40, so they're easy to deal with. I find the cave to be used quite often though, but the area outside with the resources tends to be empty most of the time I come here, due to it being in a remote location that not many people go to. Plus it's a low level zone, so the people that do go here usually aren't high enough of a skill level to get these high tier resources. I also love that there's a spirit shrine so near to it, so it's a quick run over to check if it's empty. In my previous harvesting video, you'll see that I managed all of this loot from sitting here AFK for 30 minutes. If I had sold that, and times the number by 2, that would mean that I was getting 4,860 gold per hour here, from very minimal effort. I didn't even go around to the fort for the ores in this period, to keep my AFK times as high as possible. Overall, this is an amazing spot, and I love the atmosphere in Cutlass Keys as well. For the second general spot, we'll stay in Cutlass, and that's over on the Unbound Island. This little island is near a fast travel point as well, and has a ton of runewood trees and mithril veins, all within a short circle of one another. You can do a quick lap on your mount, taking out all the resources, and then go AFK on some rocks for 20 minutes, coming back later to repeat the process. This spot used to be really popular when the new tiers of wood and ore came out, but it has gotten a lot less used since then, but it's still pretty well known. The nice thing though is that the fast travel point is so close by that if someone's already here when you check it out, you can always teleport out of there quickly without wasting too much time. The only downside is that it's inside a graveyard, so it isn't the warmest of places to grind. Next up, we'll look at some of the spots for those of you out there looking for specific ores, and we'll start off with Mythril ore. The Unbound Island mentioned previously in the general section is a great spot for Mythril ore, or you could also just camp out the cave mentioned in the first general spot. But another outstanding area to camp out when looking to get tons of Mythril is this area over in Brimstone Sands. It's nice and close to the fast travel point, it has 5 Mythril veins, so tons of Mythril ores, plus there's a couple of sandstone blocks around as well. That'll just add to your profits. If you're heading here though, make sure to grab the 2 elite chests on the way for a chance at a couple of scarabs for easy money. If you want to lower your AFK times, you can even make laps around the river beside it, and up towards Scorp as well to grab all the other resources before heading back, but I like to maximize AFK times, so I just stay up in the canyon. If you're yet to get your spear artifact, you can also take the time you're here grinding to do that, checking on Scorp every time you come back and see the sun is down in game. Another really cool spot for Mythril is over in Gruss, in Morningdale. This one is a bit more of a walk to get to, as the fast travel point is a bit further away, but because of this, there's usually no one up here, and it's a great spot for Mythril ore, plus there's some Orichalcum up there as well. So sitting here will get you tons of both in the long run. When running over here from the fast travel as well, you could pick up some Starmetal and tons of other great resources. If you take the path to the north, you can get tons of ironwood, spin fiber, and some Mythril as well. Or you can get here from the western path and get some weirdwood on the way. Either way, once you're there, just get all of the Orichalcum on the path going up the hill, then do a lap around the monument, getting all the ores around here, and then head upstairs for the big Mythril vein, and a nice chest as well. After I get this one, I like to wait in the corner of this room AFK, and when the big ore vein spawns again, I go back and run around the route again, getting all of the ores. This adds up to a ton of Mythril and Orichalcum over the time I spend here AFK. If you want to lower your AFK times, you can even head north after clearing Gruss to grab the veins up there, and even grab some of the other great resources up there as well. Orichalcum also has a lot of great spots where you can camp out AFK. For starters, there's an area in Brimstone Sands that you can combine with mob grinding to get globs of ectoplasm that can make you tons of money, and there's a bunch of big Orichalcum veins there with star metal and iron as well. But if you combine it with the mob grinding, it's not very AFK, and there's usually people around here farming, so you would need to compete for the ores. I'll link a video in which I go over this spot in the top right and video description, but for this video I'll keep to the more AFK spots. Probably the most popular, and dare I say best spot for Orichalcum is over in Eden Grove. There's an insane amount of Orichalcum, and a bit of star metal as well, all across this cliff in Eden. However, the caveat is that it's a very popular spot, so you'll have to be lucky to get it. But if you are in a low pop server, or go at a non-peak hour, and you can manage to get this spot to yourself, you'll be raking in the Orichalcum. Just keep running up and down the cliffside, and then come back when they spawn again to repeat the process. Another great spot for Orichalcum that's really AFK friendly, because all the ores are within a step of one another, is over in Great Cleave. There's also a nice fast travel point really close by, so it's easy to run up to. Just sit behind the stone wall and wait for the ores to spawn, grab them, and go back behind the wall. Some of them might lure the mob when mining, but just hide behind the rocks to lose their aggro once you've gotten the ore. There's 6 ores you can mine here before going back AFK. There's also an elite chest up here as well you can grab. If you want to make your AFK times shorter up here, you can also run up a bit north and grab all of the ores up there as well before returning. But I prefer to just wait here. And finally, I'll leave you with one quick star metal spot as well, in case you prefer that kind of ore. But for the most part, it's usually cheaper than Orichalcum or Mythril, so if you really need it, it's probably best to just get the other 2, sell them, and then buy the star metal on the trade post. But the spot I'd use is over in Cutlass Keys, within the Rotherwood Hollow Cave, just outside the capital city. It's a quick run over to from the city, and it's got a ton of star metal inside, plus some gold and silver ores as well. There are a few pirates inside, but they are very low level, so it can be dealt with easily, and you can just jump on the rocks whenever you're done with the mining to de-aggro them, and wait for the veins to respawn. There's tons of star metal to be made in here, and since it's such a low level zone, there's usually nobody camping this area. But that covers the best spots to sit AFK, or in between your PvP matches, to gain tons of gold for very little effort. If you do this, not only will you be gaining tons of resources that you can sell for profit, but you'll also be getting tons of aptitude crates, and skill line leveling materials, which will just add on to your profits. Like mentioned before, feel free to use the music buffs, proficiency pots, gathering gear, and max out your bags to really take advantage of your grind. And also, if you're not on a low pop server, and find people in some of these locations when you go there to try them out, try grinding at a non-peak hour. That will help out significantly. But let me know which spots you like to use when you do this, and if you'd like me to do similar video for other skill lines, like logging, so you can have some spots to sit AFK and chop trees. Also, if the video was of any help, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps out massively. But until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching another video, and a massive shout out to all the channel members and patrons who help support the channel. If you'd like to learn how you can make gold from grinding mobs and get some Orichalcum as well, click on the video to the left. Or, if you'd like to follow me on a lore journey to the main story quest in New World while you're sitting AFK, click on the series to the right.